Okay. Okay. Cool. So I don't know how to tell if people are on this or not. So if anybody knows, because I don't actually quite know how to work Facebook that well, but if anybody knows how to do that, can they just comment or something? That'd be great. Okay. Great. I don't know how to tell if people are on or not. So if anybody is it possible to comment or something on the video? Because I've never used Facebook before. Oh, great. Thank you. I don't know how to use Facebook. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, cool. So I will just wait for some more people to join. You can just message when you are on. And yeah, then you can start. Cool. Okay, I will just start. Okay, so hi guys. My name is Jake. I am 13 years old, in case you guys didn't know me already. I have done 6 shows. I was going into my 7th with Secret Garden, but unfortunately it got canceled. So 6 shows for now. I act in productions at Stage 34, obviously, and some things I've been doing to stay creative is playing piano and staying positive about art I create. So I'm going to start with basically what character development is. So yeah. So how you start with character development is you always start by reading your script and discovering the personality of your character and who you're playing. And the things they do and basically why they do the things they do. What is their mindset and what is their intention throughout the show? So the next thing is to uncover their goals or what they want to achieve during the show. So basically what they're trying to achieve, if it's actually physically something or if it's just a goal. And every character in the show has something they want to achieve, whether you're a lead or you're an ensemble member, it applies to everyone. So after that, you start by, sorry, I got distracted. You start by viewing the story from the character's point of view. So you no longer view it as yourself, but the character you're playing. And you sort of go through the script again, and you find where other characters in the show interfere with the goal or the thing you're trying to achieve. And then you want to decide how that makes your character feel, and more importantly, how they display that emotion and how they act upon it. So, for example, in 13, the musical, Evan Goldman, his goal is for everyone to come to his bar mitzvah. He wants everyone, all the cool kids, to come to his party. But when he finds out that they won't go if his new friend Patrice goes, he gets really confused and upset. So he takes Patrice's invitation and rips it to shreds, which is really aggressive. But that's basically an example of other characters interfering with the goal and your character acting upon it. So another really important thing is not to base your character off of other media. So if it's based off a TV show or a movie or a book or a piece of art even, not to take what another actor did or artist and apply it to your own work. Because the really fun thing for me, I think, of creating a character is it's totally your original character that you produce. So I think it's just the work pays off more when you realize that you created this character yourself. What I like to think of it as is a script is just your blueprint, and you get to make the choices for your character of its final decisions. Okay, so that's basically an outline of developing a character. If anybody has questions, you can ask. I also have some questions here, if not, that I can answer. So I'll see if anyone has questions. Well, I'll just read one first, and then if you guys have questions, you can message it. So the first question is, what do you do when playing a character you don't have much in common with? So I think a good thing to remember when creating and playing a character you don't have a lot in common with is not to apply personal experience to that character. So I don't know, times where you felt a certain emotion that this character feels and apply that to that character, because I think if you keep doing that, the character, without you really knowing, becomes too much like yourself, and it sort of takes away from who the character is as a person. So for example, sometimes you have to look at it from different perspectives. So when I was playing Miss Trunchbull at my school, a lot of people view Miss Trunchbull as someone who's mean and vicious and someone who just wants Matilda gone. But me and my director, we sort of more thought about how she just wants things to be orderly. And when Matilda comes into school, that's a threat to what she thinks is her perfect school. So it's good to develop different perspectives. Okay, so what has been your favorite role? Okay, I have a 5-way tie because I can't actually decide on what my favorite is. So they are Miss Trunchbull, Evan Goldman, the Baker, Runaway Bunny, and Ren McCormick. My most challenging role was definitely Runaway Bunny. That was an original musical based off of the children's book, if you've ever read that book. And it was definitely hard because it was a big sing. It was a lot of belting, and it was creating a new role, it's really exciting, but it's also very challenging to do. So that was my hardest, but also very fun, because there's just sort of this cool wonder about playing a little kid where you're just excited about everything. So, any more questions? I have another question here. How do you get into character before a show? So how I get into character is, I think it's really important to leave everything that happened that day, whether it's a happy event or a sad event, outside of the theater and not bring that into the show with you, because that can, I think, really affect your performance, how you felt that day. And it's good to remember that the character you're playing is not how you're feeling. It's based on how they're feeling. It's that character. It's not your mindset, it's theirs. It's almost like your character has a different brain that you get to sort of plug in while you're playing that character. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully it did. Another thing that I like to do is, before a show, I do this exercise where I will close my eyes. This sounds sort of silly, but I close my eyes and I imagine my body sort of melting away. And I imagine my new character's body sort of coming together and me like becoming that character, like embodying that character as something that's just blah. And playing that character as that person, being inside of that person's body and starting to feel what they feel. So I'll do that like a half hour before a show, so I just start feeling that character. What's a role that you want to do, like a dream role? Oh, so I would like to play, one of my dream roles is Beetlejuice, which sadly just closed. But another dream role is Bobby from Company. I don't know if you guys know that show. Some people don't like that show. I don't know. I always just like the music, and I love doing Stephen Sondheim shows, and that character just looks very fun to go through that character path. How do you figure out what the character is feeling and thinking? So it's important when you're reading the script to take notes on how other characters respond to what your character is doing. And I think that influences how you're thinking. So basically, if you like, say you're a character that's standing up for someone and you get bullied or you get pushed or you get hurt or something, you have to think about how that sort of might destroy that you would stop standing up for someone, because you know the influence of other people is affecting how you're viewed. So it's basically stuff that you feel that character is feeling, which is really fun because you get to decide. So again, the most fun thing with developing a character is it's your original character, and you get to make the decisions of how that character is viewed and played and how it makes its decisions throughout the show. So yes, Bobby from Company sounds really fun. I'm glad you guys like that. So does anybody have more questions? I'm out of my own questions, so if you guys have any more, you guys can ask. Any question is good. Let's see. Anybody? Any questions? What are you doing to stay creative? Oh yeah, that's a good question. So I am trying new forms of art, so baking or cooking or painting and drawing. I also play the piano, so I've been doing that, learning more songs. And I think a really good thing that sort of helps get the creative juices flowing is staying positive about the art you create, because that, I think, helps you be more creative if you have a good mindset about what you've created. So, yeah. So for people who just came, I was talking about earlier how the script is your blueprint for the character that you get to make. So it's not the final designs, it's just what you're handed that you can move things around and create. What do you miss the most? Well, I really miss theater because I miss just the people in the theater community and the friends that you make. And I miss doing theater altogether because I mostly miss like the friendships and the things that you learn from other actors and the things that you get to teach other actors. So that's what I miss the most. How is Stage 84 helping you stay creative? Well, things like this, like getting to do this live video. I think this is really good that people are sharing different forms of art through this live video. It's helped me. I've watched a lot of them, and hopefully it's helping other people. So I wanted to join in. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. So, yeah, any questions about specific roles or that I've played, how I've gotten into those roles? What is your favorite Stage 284 show? My favorite Stage 284 show that I've done, oh gosh, um, has either been probably 13 or Into the Woods. Both were very fun and very intricate and exciting stories that is fun to do as a kid, both for different reasons. 13 for being because you're a teenager and growing up in that time. Into the Woods being because the messages, kids are listening to what you're saying and they're trying to figure out this new world that they're in. So that was really fun to convey those messages. What advice do you have for young kids thinking about starting theater? I think, number one, that you're very courageous. It's really fun. It's hard to do these things and it can be scary to start, but I think once you do this, you learn so much from other people in the community, and it just becomes like everyone is your friend and it's sort of your home, and you get to feel really comfortable in that. So that's really why I like doing theater, is having that community of people, but also being able to tell a story to people who haven't heard the story before. So yeah, where's the cheesecloth? Yeah, that line got caught in Into the Woods, but it's really fun. So those are some of my favorite 284 shows. Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, if you have any questions about specific roles, my favorite roles were Miss Trunchbull, Evan Goldman, the Baker Runaway Bunny, and Ren McCormick. So yeah, it's okay. We got our Jack got us all cheesecloths at the last performance that we could take home, because I don't know why, but we all in our cast thought that line was so funny. But yeah, so there's any questions about specific things I do to get into specific characters, or mindsets of characters. Just fun, because I played many different variety of characters, so it's sort of fun to see how different things differ. Most challenging thing you had to do, and it relates to the next question too. Hardest thing about playing Miss Trunchbull was overall just her personality and like her strength, and the way she moves was really hard, because number one, I was playing a woman, so that was hard by itself. Number two, just the way that she presents herself and she moves and she acts. So we worked with the way that she walks and the way that she speaks. One of the really hard things was coming up with that dialect that she has. That took a while. There were many different voices that went through the process of coming out with the last one. But that was just really hard, because it was a totally different gender, and it was a totally different character than I've really played. I've never really played a character that like mean and vicious before, but it was really exciting. I got to do a lot of fun things. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions you guys have? All right. Most challenging song. Oh, most challenging song. That, gosh, it was probably, so 3 challenging songs for 3 shows I did. For Miss Trunchbull, it was Smell of Rebellion, because I was moving a lot. I was dancing around in that show. For Runaway Bunny, it was a song called I Want to Go to the World, which was basically when he ran away from his mom, and he sings that song, which was a really hard song. For The Baker, it was, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the title of the song. Oh, No More, just because that's a very, I think, emotionally challenging song. A lot happens in that song. The Baker reflects back on a lot of things. How do you keep your voice? So, yeah, that takes a lot of work maintaining your voice. It's definitely something that develops over time because your voice is a muscle. You have to focus on training it every day or as often as you can. So there was definitely a while where I did not know how to support my voice, and I was losing my voice for a lot of shows. Some at Stage 284, some at other places. But then there's this thing called supporting, which if you guys don't know, it's a breathing thing. It's pushing air so the sound comes from your stomach and you're not it's not coming from your throat, which is a really good thing to learn about. If you don't know what that is, I would watch a YouTube video on it or something like that because it's very important, and that's how you keep your voice safe and healthy. Favorite Secret Garden song or scene? I know I was playing Dickon, but I love all of Dickon's songs just because I feel like there's sometimes a break from the really serious songs, and they're really like exciting. They sort of pump you up sometimes. But I really like Winters on the Wing and Whip. Those are his two songs, but I'd say Winters on the Wing is probably my favorite because it's the first time you meet Dickon, and it's very rare that musical theater have songs that introduce the character for the first time through like in the middle of the show. So it's cool that the first time you see him is through this song. My favorite scene in The Secret Garden. Oh gosh. That's hard. I'm not sure. Secret Garden was just a really fun show. I love that show a lot. Do I like Throat? Yes, I drink Throat tea all the time. It's really good. You can find it at Whole Foods, and it is basically this tea that coats your throat with like this herbal medicine thing, and I'm not sure what everything in it is. It's like a black licorice root tea, and I have it before every show. Sometimes I have two before every show because it's really soothing to your throat, and it prepares your throat for another show. So Throat Coat tea, I would definitely recommend it. Whole Foods, you can find it at Whole Foods. Oh, my favorite. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, my favorite Secret Garden scene is probably the scene because that's the first time you see me and Dickon and his sister Martha together, and then just have this funny interaction. And I think that scene's just really joyful, and it's fun to do because I think that song we have almost everyone on stage too. So it's probably one of my favorite scenes in Secret Garden. Cool. These are awesome questions. Thank you guys. Tricky ones, but they're good. Cool. If anybody has any more you can think of, all questions are good. None are bad questions. How did you learn to deal with stage fright? Oh, that's a good one. So a lot of people ask me if I am still nervous before doing a show, and I get nervous before every single show. So for Runaway Bunny, we had 22, 24 shows, and I was nervous before every single one. So it is normal to still feel nervous even after you've been doing this for a really long time. I've been doing this for a long time. I think since I was like 7 or 8, I started getting interested in theater, and I have been nervous before every single show I've done, every song I've performed. And really, theater, I feel like you're always going to have that sensation that you never really know what you're doing, which is really exciting because stage is like a playground for actors, and you just get to try new things and play with your scene partners. So I still have stage fright, so I guess the best way to deal with it is that just to remember that you're having fun. You're just playing. What is the funniest stage that's happened on stage? Oh, one time in Into the Woods, I there's a scene where we feed like the cow corn, and it was like a real like old piece of corn, and I put it on the corner of the like the books. If you saw the show, we had these books that were platforms that we used in the show, and I put it on the corner. And when someone walked by it, it fell, and I put it too close to the corner, and pieces of it just went like all over the stage. And Timmy, who played our prince, just looked at it and goes, "Oh," and then keeps going with his line. So that was pretty funny. I don't know why I can't think of a bunch of other ones, but have you ever forgotten your lines? Um, I don't know if I've really ever completely blanked on a line. I've definitely like stuttered on a line where I just mumbled and I'm not really sure what I said, in which cases I just sort of say the line again like nothing happened, because the good thing is when the audience comes in, they chances are they haven't read the script or done the show, so they don't really know what's going to happen. So if any mistakes happen, you just get to come up with the best thing to do. Didn't we pick them up? Yeah, we we picked up the corn because we like picked up pieces of it because it was just all over the stage, so people would trip if it was still on the stage. So yeah, that was definitely pretty funny. Um, I can't think of a lot of other times. Maybe I just don't remember them, but that's the only really funniest one I can think of because we almost all laughed when we were doing that scene. All of us almost laughed. Cool. Okay, well, if there's any more. Awesome. I'm trying to think. Oh no, there is another one. There's another one I thought of when I was doing Runaway Bunny. There is a scene with the mourning dove where the runaway bunny is flying with her. And one time, the girl who played the mourning dove, she because it was a new musical, we would change things a lot in between shows. So we would take out lines or song lyrics and add in new ones. And she sang a really old song lyric to the song that was from like one of our first rehearsals that got cut really early, and she started laughing, and then I started laughing, and we were laughing for the rest of the song and the scene. I don't know why we found it so funny, but we definitely got in trouble for that. But it was just funny because you didn't think she would remember that song lyric. I forgot that one. Cool. These are really good questions. I wasn't expecting this many questions, but if you guys have more questions, you can keep them coming. I'm having fun answering them. Cool. Well, I think all the questions have been asked. Okay, well, that was really fun. I hope you guys learned some good stuff. I don't know. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions and you know me, I think everyone here knows who I am. You can ask me them. And yeah, you guys had awesome questions. I loved answering them and thinking about the past shows I've done. And thank you all so much for watching. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Bye.